Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's episode, we're going to talk about NYC's great demise. Now, why do I call it great demise? Because we are seeing it, for those of us that live in the city, we're seeing it crumble. And like I said, it's crumbling, I'm going to say at a moderate rate. Crime is shooting up fast though, but the city is crumbling at a moderate rate. So now I discussed how, in my last video, schools are shut down as of 2 days ago. So with that, kids are now going back to online learning. Like I said before, this messes with the kids' psyche, this messes with their depression, their anxiety, and possibly even suicide. That's a big problem. Now the teachers who are already stressed out are even more stressed out now. So again, this is affecting everyone. Parents now have to figure out on the fly how to keep their kids home and go to work. And some parents, guys, are going to work and leaving their kids home because they don't have a choice. They're hoping that their kids do the right thing. The only reason why I know that's a fact is because some of these kids are not logging in to class online. Because looking at my son's Zoom class, I noticed that there was only 15 kids on there when I noticed that there's 30 kids in that class. So a lot of kids are not logging in, so that's a problem. Parents are now having to trust their kids, which, listen guys, I'm sorry, you can't trust kids. You can't trust kids in today's age with the technology, running off and doing whatever they want online or watching YouTube all day. So that's creating a problem. Kids are not learning what they're supposed to be learning, and you can't learn like that. You can't learn online. I mean, listen, that Phoenix Education, that online college, that's for adults. This shit don't work for kids. So that's two different things. De Blasio did say yesterday that he wasn't sure how to reopen schools. He doesn't know what to do about it. So as of right now, like I said before, schools are closed for the duration. But the fact that he said he doesn't know what to do, I guess that's a good thing, because he's not going to he's not bullshitting us anymore like he usually does. He actually took a stance. It was like, I don't know what to do about this. So they're going to have to figure it out. But keep in mind, guys, this is an unprecedented time. This is something that the city's never faced, or the country's ever faced. So whether you believe COVID's real or not, you're right, or how bad it is or not, these people are still having to tackle issues that they've never tackled before. And I'm not siding with the mayor. Please, I can fucking care less about that asshole. Guy fell off a bridge tomorrow, I'd be like, fuck him, But nonetheless, it's still an issue for our kids. So here's another issue that's popping up, the MTA. The MTA is going to have to lay off 9,000 workers. Now, I know 9,000 workers doesn't sound like a lot, but the MTA's workforce, if I'm not mistaken, is like 20,000. I'll put the exact number now, right? But they have a big force. And 9,000, there's probably 20,000, that's probably big. It's probably half their force. It might be a little more than that, actually. Now thinking about it, might be a little more than that. But 9,000 workers, guys, is a lot. Because what that does affect now is the service. Your bus ride, your train, the cleanliness of the stations, which they're really never fucking cleaned anyway. So it's just going to get dirtier and more rats. But, it was never spotless. But now they're cutting down 9,000 workers. A large percentage of those workers come from the NYC MTA system. Sorry. There is the MTA Metro North and the MTA Long Island Railroad. Those two are taking a small hit as well, but not as big as the NYC MTA system. So 88% of the workers are coming from NYC, 12% of the workers are coming from Long Island Railroad, Metro North, and the MTA Bridge and Tunnels. So those three are taking a smaller hit, 12%, while the city is taking 88%. So again, guys, your train was running on time, now it's going to be late. And now the trains are going to be more packed. So there's not going to be any social distancing. You're going to be fucking face to face with people, all of you wearing a mask on a train like sardines, right? They were trying, they boosted the train schedule. They put more trains on the tracks, said they had more room. That's not going to be anymore, guys. Now you're going to be on a packed train. So keep that in mind. Leave early or leave later. But you're definitely going to be on a packed train come hell or high water. And the wearing the masking is going to be a big issue, because you're going to see people wearing a mask, you're going to see people not wearing a mask. And those people who are not wearing a mask, they're going to get talked to or yelled at. So you be ready to fight if you're like me and you don't wear a mask. Because you're on a packed train now with people in your face. Now, the transit system, you know, those blowjobs, they like to steal money when they can. They need $12 billion to stay afloat. They are going to now reallocate construction money that they had for construction being done on the subway system. They're taking that money now and they're moving it into the daily operations. That's still not enough to keep them afloat, but they need $12 billion by the end of next year to stay open. So I'm assuming if they don't get that money, which if Trump or Biden, whoever the hell actually gets in, steps in, they're going to have to float $12 billion to the MTA system, guys. Look at that number, $12 billion. That's a lot. That means these fucking CEOs of the MTA, because the MTA is a privately run company, it's not city owned, it's privately owned. These guys are going to have to take a pay cut too then. Now the money they're reallocating is $1.5 billion. Again, that's from construction being done in the subway system, now being reallocated for the daily operations, which is still not enough. That might get them through maybe 2-3 months, maybe. But if the MTA shuts down completely, guys, that is going to be an unprecedented time. It's going to be some shit we've never seen, ever. Right? So, and I mean shut down, So we got to see what's going to happen by the end of next year. I'm more curious to see what's going to happen by June. If they don't get any of this money, what's going to happen? But the MTA is looking like shit right now. So let's wait and see. So let's talk about the restaurants closing down. I spoke about it in my last video, talking about it now. Restaurants are going to close down, and they're not going to survive the second shutdown. There's no and ifs or buts. There's no surviving it for a lot of restaurants, and those restaurants that do survive the next shutdown, if they lift the shutdown in, let's say, January, February, it's winter month now, guys. People are not going to be eating outside. They're not going to be eating in those little sheds that they built because it'll be too cold. Heaters only work to a certain temperature. Once you get below freezing, even those heaters don't work anymore. A lot of businesses are going to not make it through the winter months, guys. Listen, even if we don't go through a second shutdown, the winter months alone are going to affect the restaurants. All on its own. People are not going to go out to eat. People, listen, if you don't have a nice heated, one of those heated outdoor sheds where you're eating inside, right, because that makes sense, they're not going to survive. And they won't be able to survive on just that alone. 25% operation inside, and in this, they're not going to be able to survive in that. People are not going to go out to eat. So that itself is going to affect restaurants, and restaurants are going to close down in droves, right? Small businesses will be able to stay open because you're going inside a store. But restaurants are going to take a hit, and they're going to take the hard hit come the winter months when it gets colder. Now, yesterday was cold as shit. Today's night a lot warmer. A little windy, but a lot warmer. But those restaurants are going to take a hit, guys. And a lot of restaurants are not going to survive through the New Year's. So I would say come restaurant season, there are not going to be many left. Maybe the big chains will survive, you know, but a lot of the small mom and pop and private restaurants, they're not going to be able to make it. Guys, they're closing down now. As of right now, while they're open, while they're operating, we can't do this. This is not enough. We need more than 25%. The deliveries are not cutting it, and they're closing down. So the winter months and a possible second shutdown is going to destroy the restaurant industry. To boot, job loss. Job loss is now a major concern because last month alone, 11,000 jobs were gained or created because of the lifting of restrictions. Now you got 11,000 jobs that are possibly going to be lost, plus more. Who knows how many more? Let's just say 22,000 are going to possibly be lost because of the COVID shutdown, the cold season, and lack of people turning out to restaurants. Job loss is going to be huge, guys. If we go through another shutdown, more people are going to lose their jobs because those businesses are not going to be able to survive the second shutdown. You're going to have more people on the soup lines or the food pantry lines. They're going to be way more hungrier people, possibly by the end of this year. This is going to be a shitty Christmas season, guys, because Christmas people look up to it. I mean, people are putting up the decorations super early so that they can feel, you know, happy. But every time you turn on the fucking news, you hear about this business closing down, that business closing down. This job loss, this number of job losses up now. It dampens the holiday spirit. It dampens people's will to live. And suicide is going to go, it's going to shoot up this month and next month, guys. I could all but guarantee that, because suicide rates shot up because of this COVID shit. Forget about a lockdown during holiday season where you can't see your loved ones and your family member. Suicide's definitely going to be on the table for a lot of people, guys. So if you know anybody who is suicidal, who are possibly suicidal, or talking that suicidal bullshit, do yourself a favor and step in and help them. If not, call this number right here and pass it on to your friends. If you are that bad off, guys, and you need someone to talk to, you can even email me at angryprepper@gmail.com. All right? And I'll pass you my number. We can have a conversation. But if it gets that bad, do yourself a favor. Call the suicide hotline number. And I'm not a suicide or mentor or anything like that, but you guys can call me if you feel comfortable. Or email me, sorry. All right, guys? So, like I said, it's just going to get bad. And job loss job loss usually leads to suicide with a lot of people. That's the other problem. A dampened holiday spirit and job loss, guys, that usually leads to suicides. We've seen it before, right, in 2008 and 2004, when the market tanked, people lost their jobs, suicide was up. So here's a new phenomenon. I mentioned it a couple videos ago. Subway pushings. People are pushing people in the subway like fucking hotcakes. They're just like, walking by people and boom, oh shit, and walking away. Now, there were three last week, sorry, not last month, 3 last week alone. For the last month, I could have sworn I saw 8 or 9 subway pushings. Guys, subway pushings used to be rare. They were a rare thing. They happened, but they were rare. People falling, oh shit, because they got too close to the tracks. Okay, that happens a lot. But people being pushed into the subway, that is way higher this year than it was any other year. And I remember reports, and even when Citizen app first started, the snitch app, if you will, subway pushings weren't up. Now you see it all the time on Citizen app, or just about all the time. Keep your ass away from this fucking subway tracks, guys. If you have to wait for a train, like I said, put your back against the wall, right? Stand all the way against the wall and wait for your train from here. Don't, walk up to the track and be like, and then have this psychotic guy walking behind you yelling Michael Jackson's a Puerto Rican, crazy dude talking shit. You see him, you put your back against the wall. But to play it safe, put your back against the wall, period. Because some of the people they pulled out of the train station that got arrested for pushing people in the track, guys, they didn't look like psychopaths. They didn't look crazy. They look like regular people, regular dudes. Now, you know what the crazy guy looks like. Again, he's walking down the street going, I love Spam, You're like, holy shit, this dude's nuts. But you know that when you see him, you put your back against the wall or you keep your eyes on him. You're like, this motherfucker, right? But you're watching him. Don't be oblivious, guys, when you enter the subway station. Don't be oblivious when you're walking in the streets. People are getting robbed left and right. Robbed left and right, guys. So you got to keep that in mind. With crime going up in the city, taking part in the city's great demise, with crime going up in the city, you have to keep your head on the swivel. Ladies, you got to be fucking walking in the street, pretending you're listening to music, looking around, right? Stop occasionally, act like you're checking your phone, and act like you're lost, because now you're looking around. Don't walk through the street like no one's going to fucking harm you. Now, I walk through the streets like that for the obvious reason. But if you are a hipster, those hipsters that are built like 12-year-old schoolgirls, you need to keep your head on a swivel. If you are a woman, you need to keep your head on a swivel. You need to pay attention to what's going on around you. You should download the Citizen app, which I fucking hate, but if it's going to save your life and keep you out of trouble and keep you out of harm's way, download the app, guys. Keep abreast of what's going on in your neighborhood. Know that there was a robbery down the block. Know that someone got stabbed up the block. Right? Know 3 blocks away someone got carjacked. Know these things so that you're not walking around oblivious. Right, guys? To add to NYC's great demise, if you will, to top it all off, no Thanksgiving Day parade. I mean, they're having a parade, but you can't go. No Christmas tree lighting. They're going to do that virtually, so you can't go downtown and watch the tree being lit anymore. And they're not doing a ball drop this year. Or they're doing a ball drop this year virtually, but you can't go down to Times Square and watch it. So all of that is how the city made its money, how the city got tourism in. Without those things this year, guys, the city's taking a bigger hit financially this year than it ever has. Because at least people came here to celebrate Thanksgiving, or at least the parade, or the lighting of the Christmas tree, or the ball dropping. They can't do any of that shit now. So that's adding to New York City's demise. Other than that, guys, I also have a podcast channel, by the way, so could you head over to a podcast streaming service and follow me there, if you will. I'm going to take most of my videos now and transfer them over to podcast, so if you don't want to look at me, you can listen to me at the very least. You can listen to my annoying voice on podcast too. All right, guys? So other than that, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. And thank you for watching.